Hey y'all, I'm 𝐂𝐿𝐄. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're doing mini twists. This is my first time doing mini twists, so I was super excited to get started. I'm using this 360 mirror to help me part. I wanted my hair to be parted down the middle in 4 sections. For one, to make it more manageable for me to do my parts, and two, just because I wanted to be able to do different styles in the end, that I could have a middle part and it not look funky. I knew that I wanted these parts to be a lot smaller than I would typically do any of my protective styles, so I am pre-parting my hair. Once I get it into my 4 sections, I'm going to start making my parts in the back. I'm using Shine and Jam to help me get crisp parts, and then when I do my very back section on the nape, it's a little bit thicker than the rest of the sections will be, but I didn't want to have too much tension in the back of my hair because I do like to wear my hair up in buns in different styles, so I'm doing this section a little bit thicker. I'm going to start making my little braids in the back. I'm just doing a 3-strand regular plait, and I'm only braiding it down a few stitches for each one of these because I did want to leave most of it unbraided so that it'll be easy to twist in with my twists that go over the top of it. So again, I did them kind of thick there, but then you see as I go up, they get smaller. I'm taking a break. It took me about an hour to pre-part this back section. Maybe not a full hour, but close to it. When I started on the left side of my head, I'm basically just taking down each row section by section, and I'm going to line up the comb with that side and just bring it over to make them match as much as possible. In the front, I'm doing the same process. I'm bringing these parts horizontal to the back, and then I'm trying to keep them in the same family of the same size. Clearly here, some of them are not, but it all worked out. It did take me about 4 hours to do all of these parts, so that was all that I did for the first day. The next thing that I'm going to do is start looking at the hair and loading up my rack to prepare for braiding the next day. I am using QVR's Afro Kinky bulk hair in this shade M1B99J and 16 inches. I got 5 packs of this hair, and it has like a burgundy-ish tone, which I love. Each pack of the hair comes in a netted state, so I'm just going to pull the net off, and then again you can see how fluffy and soft this hair is. I'm going to go ahead and start loading it on my rack so that the next day it'll be easy to just go ahead and get started. You can see how soft it is. It wasn't shedding for me just like tugging and pulling on it, but it is a ball of hair, so you have to be very careful with it. I'm showing you here just how easy it is to like pull some hair away, and I kind of treated it like 𝐂𝐃 hair. You're going to want to hold the ball of it tight and then like pull your section off. So here I am just loading it up. I did start figuring out as I was going that the best way for me to do this and to not lose as much hair was to take a strand of hair and then pull on each side of the strand to get whatever was going to shed out, and then cross it back over the middle, and then pull from the other side and do the same thing, cross it back over the middle. And then I would twist the hair in my fingers just a little bit to kind of group it, and then I would hang it onto the rack. So I'm going to show you again. I get the ball of hair, I'm going to pull out my strand, and then I'm going to pull from one side and get all those shed hairs, and then just cross it back over the middle. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, just tugging it, pull out whatever sheds, and then cross it back over the middle. That was the best way for me to save as much hair as possible as I was doing this process, and then twisting it in my fingers to help it stay on the rack. Now here's how I actually installed these. I'm not going to lie, it was a learning process, especially in the back. I tried like 3 different methods, and this was the one that I finally landed on. So I get the piece of hair, I wrap it around my braid, and I go ahead and start braiding that in. I'm going to braid that in a few stitches, probably like 5 to 6 times, and then once I've braided that in and the hair is secure, I'm going to go ahead and add a second piece of hair, and I'm going to do the same thing with the second piece of hair. I'm going to make sure that it's tight, and then I'm going to braid it in a couple of stitches. I added 3 pieces of hair to each one of my twists to get it to the length that it's at, because with just the hair at its normal length, it was basically the same length as my hair. So once I've gotten that braided down as far as I need to, I'm going to start twisting it, and I am rope twisting here. So rope twisting, I'm basically getting each strand of the hair, I'm rolling it in my fingers in opposite directions, and then I'm crossing them over each other. So here it's slowed down a little bit. I'm rolling each section in my fingers and crossing them over each other. And then I'm going to add in my third and final piece, and I'm doing the same thing with this piece. I'm going to make sure that I am rope twisting, which is just rolling the hair in opposite directions and crossing it over each other. If you do not rope twist this in or braid it in, it will slide out. I've tried to just do a regular twist a couple of times when I was adding it in, and they would slide right out. So you have to rope twist it in or braid it in for the hair to stay, unless you're doing like a crochet method. And then once I have it secured in with the rope twist a few times, I'm just going to regular twist the rest of it all the way down. And then I leave the ends out, probably about an inch at the bottom out, so that I could have some curls. I'm going to show you again. I have my strand of hair. I'm going to wrap it around the braid that I already have in my hair, and I'm going to do a braid with 3 strands. I'm going to braid that down about 5 to 6 stitches, and then I'm going to add in my second piece of hair. At this point, I am still braiding, so I'm going to braid, braid, braid until that's secure, and then I'm going to split these 3 pieces of hair into 2 to make a twist. After I have it split into 2, I'm going to start rope twisting, so I'm rolling each section of the hair in my fingers in opposite directions and then crossing them over each other, rolling and crossing, rolling and crossing. After I've done this a few times, probably about halfway down, I'm going to go ahead and add in my third piece of hair. And the easiest way for me to feed that hair in is to just always find my index finger that's poking out and just wrap it on top of that. And then again, you're going to rope twist, rope twist, rope twist until you feel that the hair is secure into the twist. And then after I've done that, I'm going to just twist it regularly all the way down to the bottom. I did this all over my head. It was actually super easy once I figured out a method that worked for me. And that was pretty much it. This is how the hair looked once I was done. I wanted to go ahead and spray water all over the hair. I sprayed it through my roots and my ends, especially because my natural hair was in a blow-dried state, so it wasn't necessarily meshed fully with the twist. So I'm using the water to help everything mesh and to also get the curls to kind of pop at the bottom. I'm going to take some scissors and just cut the hair on both sides because I did want it to have a cleaner look. And then I'm going to take my Donna's Recipe Curl Defining Mousse, and I'm going to put this all throughout the hair again, from the roots to the ends, all throughout. Once I have this all in, I'm going to let it set for a while to just let the curls kind of form and get where they need to get. And I'm also going to do my edges before that. So I'm using the Baskin Lather Edge Control. I really like this edge control, and it smells really good, and it's just thin and it doesn't cake up. So then I'm just going to tie this down, and I let this sit overnight. I came back the next day, and these were my results. I love this hair. I think it's so beautiful. It was a tedious process, but I think it was well worth it. The hair is beautiful. I like the color, and I like that the color isn't super harsh. It blends really well with my natural hair, and it's very lightweight. Like, it doesn't feel heavy or like I have a lot on my head, even though I did these pretty thick. And I love the way that the ends are curled. I think it just looks really nice and really natural. So yeah, I really enjoyed doing this look. If you're interested in the hair, I have it linked in the description, and I'll catch y'all in the next video. Thanks for watching.